We may have to seek them out and destroy them where they live. That was what came out in a court case against Merck when their product Vioxx was proved to cause heart attacks in over 50,000 people. That lawsuit, that case, went behind the scenes into the emails and showed that Merck knew that that drug caused heart attacks and covered it up from the FDA, the American people, and the world. And in an internal email they sent out, doctors that questioned the safety of Vioxx, we may have to seek them out and destroy them where they live. Think about that. How does a company like that continue to even work in the United States of America? Murdering over 50,000 innocent people. Some say that number could go up into the hundreds of thousands. Put it in perspective, we lost roughly 65,000 people in Vietnam, and we marched in the streets. And we have a company that knowingly killed people, and still they work in this country. Better yet, they make most of our childhood vaccines. We are the press. I worked on the daytime talk show, The Doctors, celebrating the best that medicine had to offer, the best doctors, the best science, the best surgeries, cutting-edge techniques. And then I ran into the story of Dr. William Thompson, a whistleblower from the Centers for Disease Control, that laid out how they committed scientific fraud when it came to vaccine safety research. Didn't just make that claim, but backs it up with 10,000 documents, including internal emails. Spoke to Congressman Bill Posey, handed over those 10,000 documents, was also interviewed by Bill Posey, and Bill Posey stood before the U.S. government in front of the Congress, said, we have a problem. We have one of our top scientists is providing information to me that we are lying to the American public and that children are in harm's way. The American people trust us. And he said in closing, please, please, I beg you, we must subpoena Dr. William Thompson. And yet, no newspaper covers that story. No news station covers that story. Nobody cares about a top scientist for the most important health agency in the world coming forward and saying we've committed scientific fraud. What has happened to us? Why am I the only one that leaves a job because I refuse to have television tell me we can't cover stories about innocent children being ruined and damaged? Stories you've heard here today. Respectable, beautiful people telling their truth, and yet we let the pharmaceutical industry buy our advertising and control what we say. At the heart, at the foundation of media, of press, the same heart and foundation of science is one single idea. We must never stop asking questions. If we do, science is dead. If science believes it has the only truth, there will never be another Einstein. There will never be another breakthrough event. And if journalists stop asking the important questions, then there will never be the dream of the United States of America. Because Thomas Jefferson said to us, if we lose a free press, a press that can challenge the government, can challenge the tyranny of industry, hold their feet to the fire, then we will lose our freedom and we will lose the United States of America. They call us the fourth estate, the fourth branch of government, and we report concerned about the branches of government being bought out by industry. Senators and congressmen that bow down to oil and gas industries or pharmaceutical industries, as Bobby Kennedy has pointed out, now the most powerful lobby in Washington. But what about us? What about the fourth branch of government? If we have been bought out, if we cannot go back to our networks and say, we must run this story. I don't care that Merck's going to follow this story with an ad for a drug and a ridiculous list of ticker tapes, side effects, and we giggle in our living rooms. Who would buy that? We must stop giggling because we are lying to the public. They believe we have a free press. They believe we are telling the truth. They believe we will cover a story when a top scientist says we have lied to the American people. Journalists are the first ones to step up when a murderer is on death row and new evidence or a new witness steps forward. We say we must reopen this case. We cannot let an innocent man die or an innocent woman die. Well, I'll tell you right now, we have a new witness in Dr. William Thompson. We have new evidence in 10,000 documents that he's provided. And you have great scientists and lawyers pointing out that it is impossible to say that vaccines are safe. It is impossible because we've paid out over $3.3 billion in damages, paid for with taxpayer money, because the pharmaceutical industry has no liability. If we've paid out $3.3 billion, how can we say that vaccines are safe? How can we say that vaccines are safe when we have a top scientist still working at the CDC? How can we say that they're safe when you cannot provide a study that shows that the second most toxic substance on earth, the most toxic non-radioactive substance, has no study saying that it can be injected into children and pregnant women, into fetuses? And we have a rise in childhood illness like we've never seen. Autism now at 1 in 45, up from 1 in 10,000. Asthma in every classroom. Anaphylactic food allergies. Diabetes. Eczema. The list goes on and on. That is not the classroom I grew up in. We have got to stop saying our children are so safe because of vaccines. Our children are sick. We said it on the doctor's television show. This is the first generation of children that we believe will not live to be as old as their parents. Isn't that enough questions for the media? Isn't that enough questions for science to do what is right? Not a single person up here today is trying to do away with the vaccine program. None of us have ever made anti-vaccine statements. We've made statements that we want science to do better. It has injured children of people sitting on this stage that have stood before you to tell the truth. It has injured hundreds of thousands of parents' children telling the same story. Those are the facts. Now it's time to begin asking the appropriate questions. When brakes fail on cars, we don't worry that we're going to end all driving altogether. We say fix the failing brakes. We are saying fix the failing vaccines, because no child should be allowed to be injured by anything, not by disease or vaccines. And if we're paying out $3.3 billion in damages, we can do better. We have cars that are driving down the streets by themselves. Any moment we may put a man on Mars. And we are going to accept that vaccines have to injure some children. We can do better. And the only way we do is if every person with a pen in this room and everyone standing behind a camera in this room does the job that we studied, that we passionately believed in, that Thomas Jefferson remanded us to challenge the systems of government, to challenge the systems of industry, and do our job for the American people, for the children of this world. Please begin doing your job and pressure this industry to have better science, because safe vaccines for everyone must be a priority. Thank you all for being here today.